In this video, we're going to talk about how Cyan is marked by darkness. Is it a gift or a curse? Alrighty then, this is a comic book review of Misery, issue number 2, brought to you by RatedComics. Let's get to it. So previously in Misery, Cyan is attacked in the subway and goes on the run from the police to hide her dark secret. So she goes on the run, she disappears, and she goes to Granny Blake's house. It's Saturday, it's 11:37 in the morning, and Granny Blake wakes up Cyan telling her that she's cooked her some breakfast and she'll wake up, she gets something to eat, girl, because you know, a girl's gotta eat. And Cyan's like, okay, I'll be there in a few minutes, but you know, beaten and bruised and feeling in pain, she wakes up, she just kind of sits in the bathroom all to herself, just going through the trauma that she experienced the day before. So Granny Blake reminds her, Cyan, your breakfast is getting cold. And looking at that breakfast, you know that's a bountiful breakfast right there. Come on now, you know we hungry like that. So Cyan tells Granny that she just had to get away from Dad, you know, for a little while. Is it okay that she could stay here for a while until she gets things figured out? And Granny Blake is like, of course, baby, stay as long as you want till you figure things out. But I need to ask you, how are you doing? Honestly. And you know when someone asks you a question and they end it with honestly or tell me the truth, or they begin with that, tell me the truth, and then the question, you got to believe that they know something and you better come correct. That's just my opinion. That's what life experience has taught me. And Cyan's like, I'm okay, really, you know, you're the one that we should be worried about, especially after what happened to you. And she's referencing the events of King Spawn issue number 34 and 35 when Al Simmons had to rescue her for being kidnapped. And Granny Blake is like, how do you know what happened to me? I didn't tell no one. Oh, sorry, maybe I'm confused. That's fine, says Granny Blake, but let me ask you again. How you doing? You ain't trying to duck and dodge that question for me. And Cyan's like, good, you know, just silly teenage stuff that's happening. That's pretty much it. Is that so? Before Cyan could take another bite, Granny Blake knows this ain't right, and she acts all enraged. Well, she ain't acting, she is enraged right now. I won't allow this. You don't walk into my home and lie to me. Not now, not ever. You hear me? Pancakes, butter, fruit, soda, juice, all over the place. And Cyan wasn't quite ready for that smoke. And Granny Blake was like, okay, look, I'm sorry, I got besides myself. I shouldn't have raised my voice like that to you. No excuse for me, but I'm concerned about you, that's all. And I know you're not doing all right. You want to know how I know? I might be blind, but I know when something's wrong with my great granddaughter. I might be an old fool, but I can tell you that last night when you walked past me saying that you were awesome, you weren't. I could hear labored breathing and the sounds of your foot shuffling. That's not the kind of energy that teenagers walk with. So somehow you know about me? If you want to stay here, you're more than welcome to, but you got to tell me the truth. You do that, everything will be just fine. I promise you that. You can't be lying like that to Granny Blake. Come on now, you can't be going to an old black lady's house and lying like that, especially with all that good food. Nuh-uh, you know there's a price to pay for it. But going to the next scene, we see Jen, the lady that was interviewing Cyan before about the incident on the subway. Now she's dealing with the ramifications of Cyan going missing. So I guess her boss goes up to her and asks her, you know, you're escapee, did you get any fingerprints on her? No need, didn't think there was any need to get her prints. So she tells her, I didn't have a cause to get those prints. So her boss is like, well, that's kind of rough. So what are you gonna do now? And she's like, everything I can. That girl, she was hiding something. She was scared and I knew it, because that girl, not Cyan, but the girl with the glasses, Jen, she's going through some things at home too. So it takes one to know one, right? So her boss is like, well, the chief of police has got your back, so I hope something pops up for you. And she gets a text message, Jen, the one with the glasses. And the text message states that DA doesn't like it when kids go missing. And all Jen could go is, how did he find out? He's connected to everyone here, so don't answer it. I won't. So now what? So her boss tells her, I can help if you need. I can check the shelters, maybe talk to those boys the cops found her with, you know, or the boys that beat her up. Jen is like, no, those boys can barely speak. You might need to give them another day or two. And I've got a stack of other missing kids that need my attention, so I'm just gonna have to deal with this on my own. But I appreciate your offer though. So back in Granny Blake's home, Cyan leaves as Granny Blake sleeps. Needing to clear her head, Cyan goes to a place she's visited 100 times before, lost in thought until one of the kids takes an inadvertent fall and the kid calls for his mom. So seeing the mother tenderly comfort her child causes a flashback of Cyan's old past. And that's her past with Wanda Blake comforting her, giving her a squeeze to make her feel better after getting a boo-boo, you know what I mean? But ain't no boo-booing around here. So 100 memories cascade, each painfully reminding her about how much she's forever lost. So that was 7:21 p.m. So at an hour and a half later or so, 8:48 p.m., not really an hour and a half later, more like an hour and 20 minutes or so. I'm not trying to math right now. Too early for that. I don't have my coffee yet. And speaking of which, if you want to buy your boy a cup of coffee, don't forget to donate to the super things or link in description. But hey man, the greatest compliment you can do is by liking this video and subscribing to this channel. But we're gonna go right back into the content, man. So this guy asks, mind if he sits down? And Cyan's like, go ahead. And she's like, you seem like you're sad. Nope, just tired. Well, it's more than that, I think. You're one of us, aren't you? I'm sorry, what did you ask? Cyan says. Like, even though Cyan has a gift or a curse, you can't be coming up to her like that. It's like, you can't be telling Granny Blake, like, I know what you've been through, even though it's just like recently. And he says, I said, you're one of us, aren't you? There's lots of us stuck here, like you, and no one thinks we're worth anything. No one thinks we're worth protecting, but we are. Have a good night, says Cyan. I ain't trying to hear all that. But he ain't trying to let her leave. So he grabs her wrist and Cyan stiff arms from like Ray Rice, running back style, LaDainian Tomlinson on the ramp, or whatever the case may be. And she tells him, let go, don't touch me. But the physical contact between her and another is beginning to trigger memories in that person, hidden deep inside, because the memories revealed are the grave sins that person has committed. Touching, that's exactly when it begins, just like last time. But she doesn't know what's happening. But for Cyan, she also must endure reliving their atrocities at the same time, at the same intensity. So this guy is like, they'll notice me if I can deliver them value, then I'll be worth saving. You're that value. Kind of creepy if you ask me, but the police show up at the right time. But by the time they show up, she's already gone. She running away. She ain't playing like that. So her friend Brooke is serving up a latte, and she has to go to the bathroom to fix herself, to adjust herself, to make sure her hair and her uniform is straight. So there's a door that bangs, and Brooke is like, I'll be right there. What's wrong with people, man? Like, let me do my thing. But keep in mind, Cyan could disappear and reappear again. And Brooke is like, Cyan, how you, girl? Don't be scaring me like that. And she holds up a sign, need your phone, meet at your house. Why do you need my phone, says Brooke. And Cyan holds up another sign. You get the picture, she can't talk right now. So Brooke gets home after her mom picks her up from work. She goes to her room and Cyan reappears again in the dark. Brooke, girl, why the frick you keep scaring me like that? You're acting weird, Cyan. Well, here's your phone back. When she hands her phone back, Cyan was pretending to be Brooke, text messaging other people that Cyan's a little bitch and I'm done with her and I can't stand her right now. She stabbed me in the back. So Cyan's like, I'm gonna get right to it. You're in danger. Why, says Brooke. From the police? Did you tell them about me? No, I didn't. Then why? Because of me, says Cyan, but I can't explain why. You're gonna have to trust me on this. Well, what about those text messages you sent? I need everyone to think that you hate me right now. It's why I wrote those. The less people think you care about me, the better off you're gonna be. My life's kind of screwed up right now and I don't want anyone getting caught up in it. So Brooke is like, okay, how can I help? By protecting yourself. From what? From who? You know, she's got a lot of questions, and rightfully so. And Cyan's like, remember when I disappeared? I didn't. I got put in an institution, a drug rehab place. And that's referencing Spawn issue 268 to 270, which I did not read, but I gotta check that out. And eventually we will get to all the Spawn issues, but that's definitely good editorial notes right there. Brooke is like, well, so what happened? When I escaped, I took this flash drive, all their files from the past year, and a box of files too. So Brooke is like, what do you want me to look for? Anything with names on them, specifically ones with fancy titles next to them. And any medical charts. I want to know what they were shoving down my throat. Okay, so she's trying to do some homework right here, but I don't know if you want to go all that. But while she's going all that, Jen from earlier, remember in the previous issue when she comes home to her husband, it's dark and gloomy and things ain't right. So she calls for her kids and her husband's like, oh no, they're not here. They're spending the night with the Estradas. You didn't answer my calls today. Why? I got busy. You were busy all day? I hate that question, because you know damn well you can take a minute to call back, but maybe she was entrenched in that case. But he's trying to hear all that, so he goes to work on her. The same way the issue number 1 begins is the same way issue number 2 ends, and that is the end of Misery, issue number 2. What you guys think of the comic book? Comment below, let me know. Also, link in description if you wish to add this comic book and or any of our other limited print Rated Comics exclusives to add to your comic book collection. Support the art, support the industry, and also don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this. With all that being said, thank you again for watching. Until next time.